And I told them that for me, Yvette, to have complete buy-in into an idea on a project, you need to target 3 things: my head, my heart, my hand. How I think, what I feel, and what I do.
Oh, yeah. No, some people are ambitious for just money. I just want to make money. Some people are working hard to support their family. So they have a purpose.
Different needs,
like
true.
like a definition of why they're doing something. Which club did I not go to?
Living your best life. Hey. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Dubai Diastories. My name is Yvette Kikuyu, a.k.a. your self-proclaimed host, to come and give you the amazing stories of people who are movers and shakers within the diaspora here in the Middle East that don't get the credit they deserve. The goal of us starting this channel is to educate, empower, and entertain people through the day-to-day struggles that we face. And guys, on this episode, do you have that one friend who, you guys don't talk every day, but the day you talk, it's deep, it's real, it's raw, it's relatable. The kind of message that just makes you feel like, so I'm not crazy for thinking what I'm going through. This woman, to me, and she might not see this for herself, is the definition of work-life balance. One day I can be watching her story. She's busy organizing an event in Saudi Arabia. The next day, she's in New York, living her best life. A woman who's mastered the art of wanderlust and being an independent professional woman in Dubai. An independent professional woman in Dubai. Not by choice, but by circumstance. And today we are going to elaborate more on her journey here and what she loves about what she does and the things that she feels are potentially areas she can improve. Welcome the one, the only Nas in the building.
I think,
and she's wearing my favorite color, money green. Omo. It's the Valentino with the Jimmy Choo, the art of luxury. Excuse me, you cannot be working this hard and not be looking this good.
Oh my God, I know. You know what? I call you my hype woman for a reason because from the moment I met you, you've always hyped me up. You've always been so positive, and I'm so honored to be in your podcast. And I've actually really been looking forward to seeing you doing this. And it's such a privilege to be here. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And the one thing I love about you, Naz, I normally feel like sometimes the universe makes it align for you to meet people who gravitate with your spirit. Like when I met you, just the way you carry yourself, how you handle conversations, how you handle people. I was like, there's something about this babe. I don't know her from Adam. I don't know what she does. But I feel like our spirits can relate and resonate.
Can match somewhere.
And look at us now, almost 3-4 years later.
Babe, this is how I feel about you. I think from the moment I saw you, from the moment I met you, you've always been a vibe, positive vibes. There's always something about you. You're always so cheerful. You're always looking to bring people up. You're always looking to elevate people's spirit, make them laugh. So having this kind of avenue is such an inspiration, actually.
And it's so funny that people will not understand that we don't talk every day.
I
but
know.
the days that we do talk.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
The voice notes.
Girl.
I know.
The part that people don't talk about, and this is one thing that I feel is a very undermined struggle of living in the diaspora.
Yeah.
Do you know the kind of guts, the type of courage it takes for you to put everything you own in a box, travel to a country with a culture that you do not know, and struggle to build your dreams?
Let's talk about that because, first of all, especially if I talk about myself, I left my family. I have sisters. I have 2 younger sisters and my mom and my dad. And I left everybody at home and I moved here just on the whim, right? And one thing people don't realize from back home and people even that you work with is that you have nobody here. So at the end of the day, you end up making your family your workplace, your family. The people that you work with become your friends. The people that you work with become your family. Because at the end of the day, let's face it, we spend most of our time at work.
Speak on it.
Right? We only get 2 weekends. We only get 2 weekends. And sometimes even these 2 weekends we're working. So
speak on it.
Yeah.
And sometimes the part that people don't know is because Dubai is such a destination for focusing on building your career and everything. these people you meet in your career don't know you from Adam. They don't know who you are.
True.
I recently had a conversation with my manager, and I told them that for me, Yvette, to have complete buy-in into an idea on a project, you need to target 3 things: my head, my heart, my hand. How I think, what I feel, and what I do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I feel so many companies here, because of the cultural background and everything, they focus on the head, the money aspect, how much money I stand to make. That money, what kind of lifestyle will it allow me to afford? But they
Yeah.
don't realize that the driving factor to be able to help me achieve these things is the heart.
It's the heart, true. Because I'll tell you something. We have a lot of people in Dubai who they come here for work to make money. Let's face it, everybody comes here to make money.
Facts.
But when you have like a small backing with you, like a soul or like a target or like an aspiration or like ambition, you know, some people are ambitious for just money. I just want to make money. Some people are working hard to support their family. So they have like, you know, a purpose.
Different needs,
You know,
true.
like a definition of why they're doing something.
Correct.
But then we have the soulless people who are just focused on, I want to make billions, I want to make this, I don't care who I crush along the way, as long as I get to my bag, right? And
it.
a lot of people in Dubai, unfortunately, don't have the soul. And that's why you feel like when people even talk about so many things about work, about dating, about all other aspects, they say like Dubai is so superficial. But there's a difference here. It's superficial when you surround yourself with superficial people. You have to find and surround yourself with the right people and kind of cultivate in that. You water what you need to grow, right?
Do you feel that, okay, and probably this is us jumping the gun again. Let's take it a while back. Let's try and start from the beginning. The beginning.
The beginning.
The beginning. So let's talk about like your life before you came here. What were you doing and how did you end up here? Like if you could summarize that, how would that look?
Whew, child.
Girl,
where
we
do
got
I
time.
start?
We
Oh my
got
God.
time.
So let me try to summarize it. Like when people that know me now think of me as a career woman, focused on work, travel, happiness, and everything. But I was actually a stay-at-home girlfriend. Yeah.
That is such
I was a
an
stay-at-home girlfriend.
opposite reaction. Like
Yeah.
I was not expecting you to say
I
that
was a
because
stay-at-home girlfriend.
how do you come from that to what you're doing right now?
See, it's a thing about, and I guess we'll talk about this more, but about dating. So I was dating quite an affluential man. He had his own money, family money, you know, old
Legacy.
money, legacy money,
Old
yeah.
money.
So and I focused myself on working on his business, let him get the money because I knew at the end of the day the money was our money because we were living together. Like so, we were building an empire in my head. Right?
In your what?
In my head.
In your what?
In my head.
Okay.
So here I was 19, you know, working hard with him, like trying to lay the grounds and everything. And then I think from the moment we broke up, I swore to myself that I would never put myself in a situation where I'm with a man and I don't have my own. Like if a man decides to leave me, and I'm there like feeling, oh my God, where do I start?
You know,
where do I begin?
There's a conversation I had with my friend this morning, and we were just talking about like why marriages these days don't last. And I personally feel when the whole female revolution happened after the Second World War, and allow me to educate a little bit on this particular aspect, the Second World War was the birth of the feminism era. Because after 1939 to 1945, when we went to the Second World War, a lot of men were injured, they had PTSD, and at this particular point, the world was not robust enough to understand the emotional battles that these people were fighting. So here you are as an America or a large superpower, and you have this entire generation of men who had gone to war to fight for their country, who've come back with injuries, they're mentally messed up. And an industry that still needs to drive itself to build the economy.
Yeah.
Because you've spent all this money on war.
Yeah.
And then, of course, being a superpower, the US noticed for any home where these soldiers left, there was a woman. And this woman was mainly designed and kind of like preconditioned to give birth, build family, be a homemaker.
Yeah.
But there was more that she could offer.
She could offer, true.
So now the woman actually substituted the man in the workplace And it was kind of like if me and Nas are neighbors and we both have kids,
Yeah.
our husbands have both been to war. They're currently going through maybe PTSD training,
let's come
rehabilitation.
together. Let's have something.
Let's come together. And
Yeah.
when Nas goes to work, I take care of Nas's
I take care of,
kids.
yes.
And when I go to work, Nas takes care of my kids.
My kids, true.
And the US government then realized instead of taxing one person who was the man in the family, now I can tax
both.
and they now cover that under the umbrella of feminism, women having their own. But the part that where I feel this system failed me is that they never trained the man to deal with a woman like me and you.
Because they were used to women who are like, stay at home. I take care of you. No questions asked. You know? And even up to date, we have men that will marry you and tell you, you know what? Since I've married you, I have the money. Please stay at home. Take care of the household.
My sister, that's the kind of
what's the
arrangement
reason?
I'm
Why are
looking
you
for.
working? Why are you working?
Why?
And why?
Why?
Like, you know, it didn't make sense to them. So, and we still have men like that.
Correct.
Believe me or not, we still have men who have this kind of mentality. But let's face it, the strong men that we have right now, the strong men that women want to date right now, or I mean, strong women like me and you want to date right now are men who respect us. Men who understand that we can also be busy. We also have our own career.
Correct.
But we're very open to you taking care of us. Hello?
110%. Because
We also want to be taken care of because there's something about it. I heard you when you spoke about your last podcast. You said, "Listen, I'm no longer
A girl did her research.
A super feminist.
I'm not a
because
feminist
I
anymore.
want to be taken." And I cannot agree with you more because I'll tell you something. Men sometimes hide behind the feminism as a way of acceptance, like let the woman
I'm
do this.
open.
First
I'm
of all, I
modern.
am not okay with 50-50, and I've told my friends I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but I
Girl,
have
you're
white
speaking
friends who
to
are
my
so liberal
spirits.
and they're like, oh yeah, you know, me and my husband, we go 50-50. It's okay to do whatever floats your boat.
But for you, it
For
doesn't
me,
work.
it doesn't. Because for me, I want a man that is, you know, says, hey,
You know, the
don't
thing is,
worry.
I feel like
I
feel like growing up, and this is probably an analogy that I have. Please let me know if you agree or disagree with me. I feel like women, we are conditioned to nurture from the day we are born.
True.
Hear me out. When a boy is growing up, he's given a G.I. Joe. He's given a war game. He's given like Legos to build something. But as a woman, you're given a kitchen. You're given a doll. You're constantly in that nurturing mode. And then in your 20s, all of a sudden, the whole narrative changes and they're like, oh, men only like women that they have something to their name, have a skill or value that they can offer. And then in your 30s, you actually realize, wait a minute, they didn't tell me that if this doesn't appeal to me, what potentially could be the next best option. And you
Yeah.
realize that there's a lot out there. So you condition yourself to grow up, to be able to fit into this box that society has created for you. Independence, having your own, not realizing that it drives you away from the core that you grow up with.
Yeah.
The nurturing, the doll playing, the kitchen girl. And then later in your 30s on everything, when you're looking to settle, that's when you're like going through the
Wait
debate
a
of like,
minute.
"What?
Wait a minute. I missed something here.
If I'm being truly endearing to myself, and that's why with each therapy session, my doctor always says, how does this speak to your inner child?
Yeah.
Because I am operating from the DNA of my inner child.
Yeah.
I can try and fit into what society has said is ideal right now, but the inner child will never stop haunting me.
You know, and I always say this, sometimes when we have dreams and aspirations when we're younger, they're so pure. They're not tampered with. Nowadays, when we think about things, they have influence from something we've seen, something we've thought about, something. And if you go back and dig behind what you were thinking and what you were dreaming of when you were younger, it was pure and something you genuinely wanted without any, interruption, interference
Correct.
from sisters, brothers, media, Twitter, TikTok. Now we have all kind of everything, right? But the kind of life that we live right now is that any decision that you make is going to be scrutinized. From your parents to your sisters to your friends, everybody's going to have a say in anything that you do. And I'm telling you, the strongest people are the people that actually make their own decisions and say, you know what, I know you're my friend, you're my family, but I'm going to do what's best for me.
Is this your podcast or mine? Please relax. Why have you taken over? Why are you speaking to my spirit? Who sent you? Because I feel like you have read me like a book. And sometimes I feel so guilty because being a vocal person, I know that this has always been my calling since I was younger. But now the fact that I feel I'm contradicting what I believed in my 20s,
yeah.
I was conditioned to believe that that was a recipe for success.
Yeah.
But now when I sit in my mid-30s, I'm like, success actually
Why?
doesn't look like that.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
But I have a bit of sometimes I have a dilemma. I'll tell you why.
Tell me
I'll tell
more.
you what so I have friends and they're very good friends of mine.
Okay.
Right? As a career woman, I'm there thinking about, oh yeah, I'm working hard, I'm making money, I want to afford my trips, I want to buy that good bag. Back then, this was my mentality after I left that serious relationship. I said, everything that this man ever did for me, I will do tenfolds. And I will do the best that I can to show him. Look at this. I'm still moving on, but I'm still thinking about showing him.
Proving a point.
Proving a point. Like by the time I was getting to Dubai and deciding, you know what? I'm not proving a point. I don't need to prove a point.
Let's pause there. And I'm sorry to pause you at this
No worries.
very critical juncture. But hey, this is my girl Nas. And let me tell you something about Nas. She's the one person, I don't think she actually sees what she does, because there's this concept called the Johari window. And allow me to just go a bit deep into that. The Johari window has 4 quadrants. So within the box, there's 4 boxes. The first box is what I see about Nas that Nas wants me to know about her. And the second box is what I see about Nas that Nas might not know about herself.
Okay, girl.
But deep down, she's doing it. But because I have an outside mirror, I'm looking outward in.
Yeah.
I probably see things that Nas doesn't do.
That's true.
And then there's a third box of those secrets that are deep, and Nas is probably trying to shadow them and not let me know.
Yeah.
And the fourth box is Nas doesn't know, I don't know, because life is an ongoing journey.
This podcast.
Girl! Are we speaking or are we
I know,
speaking?
oh my God.
Are we preaching or are we preaching?
Woo, woo.
So I feel like in my 20s, I focus too much on what Nas knows and wants the world to perceive of her. And then in my 30s, I realized I want to discover myself as well and not give a flying F of what people think about me.
Yeah.
And with that comes a lot of enmity, animosity, rejection, debate, judgment.
Yeah.
And if you
Lots of judgment. Oh my God.
And if you don't have a thick skin, you can end up losing yourself and being stuck in the second box because you want to be perceived the way the world thinks what is ideal should be perceived. But you're a person who's been able to break into the third box. What was that turning point for you? Like where you just said, I don't give a flying F. I'm going to be me because this is the one life that I'm responsible for. Do you have a turning moment?
I would say my turning moment, if I digress from, because I say that, and I don't like giving people credit to my life and things I've accomplished, but I'm going to blankly say that I turned my life around when I broke off, because I was in a situation where I was living with someone and I was going to marry this person and I was going to be with this person for the rest of my life. And I love this person dearly. But my turning point was when people around him, people that I thought were my friends, our family, started talking about us. And, I never felt good about it. And,
it constantly left
he
you
had
with
more
that
money than
feeling.
me, right? And I had nothing to my name. So who do you think people will go and side with?
You know what I normally
And you know how
tell
people like to kiss?
Yeah. They say that women act funny around men. Have you seen men around men with money?
Oh my God.
If there's one
Do
sentence,
not get me started on that.
If there's one sentence that rings near and dear and true to my spirit, money stops nonsense. I have seen men who might not be the most intelligent, most well put together, but because they can justify their position or pedigree in a certain industry, they walk in, even without saying anything, they're already given respect.
And that actually bothered me so much because, let's face it, as much as my ex was like a good partner and everything, he was not good in business. I will blankly say he was not good in business. He had daddy's money. He had all that backing, but he was not good in business. But he got the respect because I mean he was walking in there with that fancy watch that all the friends that I introduced him to were loving, right? Everybody was like, oh, hyped up and all that. But the moment I left that situation was because of what everybody was saying about me. They were like, not. And this is why I have something against women being stay-at-home girlfriends, just doing nothing and being like, oh, babe, thank you.
Oh, I'm here to serve your dreams.
Like, it's okay to be a stay-at-home girlfriend, but have something for yourself.
Add value.
Open that business for yourself. Do something. Do something with your passion, something with your career, or,
I spoke to my friend the other day, and this is so beautiful because she's originally from Indian descent. And she's married up. Me, I personally believe that women are designed for hypergamy.
True.
You're constantly designed to elevate the current standard that you're living
Anyone
in.
who undervalues themselves,
And that
they
is
need
why
to
when you
evaluate
see
themselves.
a woman cheats, if you really dig deep to the core of her cheating, it is probably that man decided to do something that would reverse their state in lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm here to apologetically and directly state without fear of prejudice or judgment. If there's one thing that women cannot do, I'm not here to confuse or debate, women cannot go back in lifestyle. If I date you and you introduce me to a certain caliber, a certain threshold, an experience that is new to me, and I feel comfortable in it and I feel deserving, when you now tell me we've been dining at Ula or Nobu and then the next day we want to go to KFC,
My friend, that's takeout.
it's
That's
a problem.
That's movie night at home, but everybody deserves that,
Yes.
spoiling.
I constantly need to feel like you are the head. The moment
And
I
this is
feel
the
like I'm
thing.
doing both, isn't it a problem?
This is the thing I say. Actually, I say I'm currently serial dating, right?
Tell us more. Define
I'm serial dating.
What
I'm
does
serial
serial dating
dating.
look like to Nas?
And actually,
what
this
is
something-
this?
This is something that we were joking about in the office because I have I have friends that are married, friends that are looking for serious relationships, but they're very cultured in the Indian
On the west,
part,
on
right?
the, yes.
So they want to be they
On the Asian
yes,
side.
and they mostly focus on like they can do what do you call this?
Arranged
Arranged
marriages,
marriages,
correct.
and things like that.
And funny enough, arranged marriages end up in least divorce rates.
Yes, because that's another
Another
topic.
podcast.
That's another podcast.
And I don't feel as comfortable discussing it without someone from their side.
Exactly,
We
right?
can get someone to discuss this.
And
with.
I will actually introduce you to someone who's so open-minded about. She's Indian and she's like, she'll get into the details. We'll get to that anyways.
Okay.
But my aspect in this kind of conversation mostly is when I think about people dating and people going all the way out with men, I want to focus on women who think it's okay to be understanding. It's okay to accommodate people. It's okay to be compromising. Why do I need to compromise just because I turned 30? Tell me, why do I need to understand men's need just because I'm 30 and my clock is ticking? See, we have two different kinds of women. The one woman will be compromising and will understand, okay, I need to get married now. I need to get arranged marriage, whichever marriage. Even Africa, we actually have arranged marriage.
We do.
Your mom, your auntie, your whatever, grandmother.
Political families.
Yes.
This family
They will
married
say,
with this family. They come together.
Business marriages.
Thank you.
Right?
They happen.
Yes, it happens.
They do.
Benefit marriages happen. And then we even
Benefit
have contract
marriages.
marriages where you say, you know what? Your company, my company, we get married, we can never get sued.
Correct.
This kind of conversations. But we have generation and women that are like, you know what? I don't want to compromise. So when I started serial dating was mostly because I went out on a date and I said, does this man have the potential to be my future husband? Because I no longer date for
the
pleasures
sake.
or for the sake.
Yes.
Because let's face it, I earn enough. I have enough in my bank account to take myself to the fanciest places in Dubai, which I always do, right? I have
She said
enough
what
to
she
buy
said.
myself bags, shoes, whatever I want, So when I go out on a date, I'm going out on a date to see value. I just don't want to go out on a date just to meet a man and just to marry. I want to see your value. What do you bring to the table? What do I bring to the table? Don't question it. Because at the end of the day, men need to understand that despite what they bring to the table, I have to be the family hold her. I have to bear the kid. I have to carry the
Bear
child,
the kid.
right?
True.
And that is not something that needs to be underestimated under any circumstance.
True.
And this is something that I say that should give a woman an upper hand, because having a child changes you a lot.
Correct.
It doesn't change a man. It changes your body. It gives you postpartum,
Your
all those
mental
kind of things.
aspect, you constantly
Calculations,
Sis,
you know.
I look at some of my friends that we've been friends for a very long period of time. I've friended them when they were in university, when they got their first job, and it was all about looking good, having fun, making memories.
Yeah.
And now that they're mothers, they're different.
Yeah.
And for a very long time, like, I used to judge them. I'm like, do you think you did it too soon or anything? But as I grow older, I realize that naturally, even I come into that space.
Yeah.
And as much as I try to run from it, and I'm like, maybe I want to chase the career aspect of life, I always feel like there's this side of my life that is lacking.
Yeah.
And it's constantly like an itch in my throat. And
Yeah.
as the more I run away from it, the harder the itch gets.
Yeah.
And that's why I've just come to the frame of mind where I have accepted that as a woman, I'm designed to be a helper. But at the same time, before I was a mother, before I was a wife, I was Yvette. And where I feel a lot of women struggle, and probably they don't establish the balance, is that once they step into the other roles, they forget about themselves.
That's true. And this happens a lot. And that's why you see a lot of women when they have kids. So we have two types of divorces. Women who divorce a man because they give birth to a child, and then they go to the depression and they forget themselves, they lose themselves, and they no longer want to be part, like a family with that man, because they feel like, oh, this man shattered whatever their being and their body and everything. So they go the other way, right? And they're not salvageable until they focus on themselves. They seek the
salvage
therapy.
themselves.
Yes, they have to find themselves. Because let's face it, in this kind of world that we live in right now, you have to find yourself, or at least have some family member or some friends that will be caring enough to say, you know what, babe, you need to see someone. And not be ashamed to tell you need to seek help. Like, whatever you're doing right now, it's not working for you. Get some help and let it work out for you. And we don't have that. We don't have friends that will tell you like it is on your face. And everybody wants to laugh around. Hey, kiki,
have fun,
you know?
toast.
Yeah. Let's go for brunch. Let's drink. Let's toast. Let's do this.
And actually find
serious
it harder.
matters they don't want to talk about.
I actually find it harder for people to call you on the bluff the more successful you are.
Yeah.
Because it's like, who am I to question what she's doing?
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like there've been instances where I've gotten into tunnel vision mode and I focus on one thing. And I later realize that the parts that I ignored is actually what makes me whole.
Yeah.
Because what I focus on still ends up having a gap that I can't fill.
Yeah.
And then when I now realize there's a gap, I try to fill it quickly, but I realized the whole goal was to be able to balance on one plate.
You know, I think when you're talking about tunnel vision, it just took me back to when I moved to Dubai.
Tell us more about that.
So
Which year was this?
This was 2016.
Okay.
Late 2016.
Okay.
Right? And then approaching 2017. That time I was a party animal. Hi!
Hey!
What did I not do in this Dubai? Which club did I not go to? Like, you know?
Living your best life.
I was living my best life, and I promise you, like, I used to do the most. When I moved to Dubai with like the best, you know,
Dream
aura
and
and
vision.
the dream and vision and everything. And I
Correct.
just so happened to meet someone who was amazing. You know, remember,
The
I'm
energy
coming
attracts.
from the broken relationship, right? That one.
Throwback Thursday.
And now I'm like moving on. I'm like, you know what? We move.
We move.
We're not focusing on the
Don't let
past.
your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband.
And now I had said to myself, I'm no longer gonna prove myself. I'm gonna live my truth. I'm gonna live my life how I want it. I don't, because I used to think everything that I'm doing, I'm thinking, he's going to see my Instagram. He's going to see my post. Oh, what is it?
You constantly feel like you have to fit in a box instead
Exactly.
of living your true life and your true self.
So much pressure
Oh my
back then.
gosh.
And then I decided, you know what? forget about it.
Doesn't
I was
matter.
going out. And then I remember when I put a stop to because I used to
But
go out
what was the
Monday
moment?
to Monday.
What was the moment that made you realize you need to stop? Was there like a highlight, a moment that made you say like, wait a minute, let's go back to the drawing board? Was there like a big moment that was like a flashlight in your
I
life?
actually didn't even tell you this, and I haven't revealed this to you.
Oh,
But
it's an Amaka.
I have
and Nas exclusive.
This is something that the men that I go out with always like end up proposing to me, and yeah, I know.
Wow, that means you're doing something right.
And this is the thing I have against. I know this is the exact expression that like people are like, oh my god,
Girl, teach me your ways.
I look at myself like I'm still struggling because I it's not the one. It's not the one that I want, right? Because and some friends would say, oh, you have commitment issues, girl. You have commitment issues. Because if this person would ask me to marry him, I would
In a heartbeat.
And I think this is the reason where I told myself, you know what, there's more to it. There's more that I want than just, settling down and, doing that. Right?
And I feel like a lot of women get comfortable with that. And then they negate that hidden factor of like, there's still something telling me that I deserve better.
I deserve better.
But because a bird in hand is
better.
worth than what is in the bush, you take the risk with that. And then 5 years later, we are in court.
Yeah.
With
how many
custody of
divorces do
children.
we have right now in Dubai?
Say
Tell
less.
me when you go out right now
and
and you go out on a date and somebody's like, oh, I'm divorced.
And you know the best part about Dubai?
You're like, I'm done.
The best part about Dubai, I was just watching, and shout out to Let's Talk Dubai. I think Lillian is doing such an amazing podcast.
Yeah.
And she was talking about, like, she had a situation where there was infidelity, and her divorce took 6 weeks.
Wow.
6 weeks. That's nothing.
Yeah.
In Kenya, you have to go through the 2.5 years of trying separation.
Counseling,
Here in 6 weeks. So I personally feel if this is supposed to be a lifelong commitment, but here's a country that has made it so easy for you to free yourself.
Yeah.
Don't you want to do it once and do it right? Am I speaking or am I speaking?
You are speaking. Amaka, as always. I told you, like, when we were talking, when I was talking to her and she brought up about the podcast, and I was like, Amaka, you're very good with your words. You're very articulate. You know how to say everything. And you've opened me up, like, to some topics that I didn't even think I could talk about because I was so nervous and I was like, where's the script? Can I get the script? Can you please tell me what you're going to ask me? You're like, babe, we're going with the flow.
We are going
now,
raw.
This is like, you've had me talking about, like, a thing that I never spoke about. Like, nobody knows why I became who I am. Right? Oh my God.
They see the happiness.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They see the happiness. They see, oh my God. The
babe.
makeup.
Oh, girl. your lashes are popping. And this is what I want. I am so tired of people trying to showcase perfection in life.
Yeah.
Winning. I want people to be open about the challenges that they're actually facing. Dubai is glitz and glam. I see you, babe. Sometimes you challenge me. Because, there's that, what I like to call the first mover advantage that people don't see. It's like me thinking, I've been here since 2010. This freaking queen just came in 2016 and now she's a mover and shaker.
All around.
She zaps me to make me realize that there's more that I can do.
Yeah.
But even in your glory of being such a queen of events, knowing which shoulders to rub, where to apply pressure, where to appease, but there's still who is actually taking care of you. And for a very long time, we feel like the end goal is once we achieve this financial independence, then I'm okay. But in my 30s, I'm craving more of, I want to wake up next to somebody. I want someone to cuddle me and I just feel safe.
Yeah.
It's going to probably be a bit controversial.
Let's get to it.
But I recently went through something in my life, and there's this one person who, there's nothing serious between us, but whenever I call him and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going through and it's not making sense and I'm so confused. And right in this moment, I just need to be held.
Yeah.
And it's like,
the hug,
I got
that
you.
in your arms. That you don't need to talk. You don't need to explain yourself. Just Lay in my arms. Lay your head on
my shoulder. I feel you. And there's that escape of just being with him and him cuddling me. And in that moment, I can put pause on all my thoughts and be like, in this very moment, I feel seen, I feel recognized.
Yeah.
But then as a woman, it's like you're constantly made to feel like you have to pick one. Why can't I have both?
We don't have time to pick. As long as there's no. Please,
You
have
don't
you
know-
seen?
Do you know the road to my village?
Hey.
Excuse me. Don't let your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband.
See, that's why I say serial dating.
Serial dating.
And you know the thing with serial dating is you can go out on a date, see a man, and say, you know what? You're a good guy. You're just not my guy. You know? And I'm okay with you because this kind of check boxes, you tick them. Like you're there. Like you're a good guy. Easy conversations. We can hang out. We can have drinks. We can party. We can do this. But you don't stimulate me mentally.
I respect you for what you've done, but I
Exactly.
don't admire you
Yeah.
to see what more
I want
you can
more.
do.
I want
Correct.
more, right?
Case in point, I just posted something very controversial yesterday, and like a couple of people in my DMs were like, "Oh, Amaka, you're being very judgmental." Simon Gobadia.
Oh, I love him.
Excuse me?
I love him.
Are you
Oh my
seeing
God.
what Portia has
Have
done?
you seen that video? Have you seen that video of him with outfits?
Thank you. That's what I
Hey!
posted yesterday.
That man was looking old.
I started seeing this man in season 13
I
of
even
Raw.
started seeing that he's hot.
I'm going to be very honest. When I first saw him with Farlene, I even was like, I could have thought Farlene is the one with the money.
I know.
And now I see the way Portia loves him and
Takes
how he's
care of
bloomed, how he's blossomed.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you that two women can date the same person, but it doesn't mean they date the same person. And with
Speaking
that
facts.
same thing is that the more I grow, my needs change. And sometimes I might find you with your money, you have everything, you're successful and everything, but are you adaptive? Are you open to new experiences? How do you deal with change? Because the Nas you marry now, I guarantee is going to be a very completely different Nas in 5 or 10 years.
True.
But how do you move with me at that
Yeah.
pace? And that's the part where I feel like a lot of men might focus on one thing, like if I provide for her, if I take care of her, that's more than enough.
What is providing?
But
But
if you-
look at ourselves right now.
Thank
you
you.
have your own house, right?
Thank you.
You have your own car.
Correct.
You are doing good in your life.
Simple.
Money in your bank.
Yes.
If a man is coming right now, what will they offer you? You have your house, you eat. You've been eating, you've
I
been
wear
sleeping,
what
you've
I
been wearing
want.
whatever you want.
It might not
You're
be
dressing.
brands, but
look
I'm
at the
happy.
outfit you're wearing. Let's talk about the outfit you're wearing right now.
Thank
Hello,
you.
rich
Special
auntie.
plug to Auntie Yemi's Royal Boo Boo in Dubai. If you're just looking for that one outfit that will make you feel exquisite and own your African true queen, look no further. Yemi's Royal
Me
Boo
personally,
Boo is
I
here
want
for
it.
you.
If you want to say I copied you,
It's okay,
you can
no
say
problem.
I copied you. But I
Because
want
at
this
the end of the
outfit.
day, I can never be you. You can never be me.
True.
Everybody with their own personality.
Same thing about men. A man will
Correct.
treat you differently. A man will treat another woman differently.
True.
See how Simon was with the other lady and how
Yes.
Simon is right now
with
with
Portia. Completely
And
different
look at how
man.
Portia is loving this man. This man is looking 30 years younger.
Sis.
I'm looking at him, I'm like, oh, damn,
I'm
he's
like,
hot. That
why did
Nigerian
I s-
snack.
Excuse me.
Eh?
I would draw the Iwedu and the banga. I'm ready.
Did you see even their wedding, how they were like looking so happy? This
Girl.
man has not stopped
And
smiling
you know the
since
beautiful
the,
part
the
about
moment
that
he
is
met her.
because even Portia, with all her vanity, she said, "This is me.
Yeah.
Take me
As I
or
am.
leave me."
Yeah.
There was,
She was
no
her
that
true
one
self.
of I was packaging myself to appeal.
And
No.
this is the problem we have with women right now.
And that's so funny because this same person that I'm telling you makes me feel safe and seen was actually telling me a story of how his friends got married younger.
Yeah.
And one of the guys, one of his boys who he grew up with, had a very good petroleum job and everything, working for one of the top 5 petroleum brands. And then, you know, you're used to this life where you have moped, driver, everything. Like you're a passenger princess. That's who you are. And then all of a sudden, one day your husband wakes up and is like, I'm done working for this corporation. I'm going to do this for myself
Yeah.
and start my own business. But that means we have to cut back in some things of our lifestyle. That's how the babe was like. I'm not designed for that bullshit.
It's too much. It's too much.
I
Babe.
will not swallow it. I know the man I married, and that's the man I want to be with.
Yeah.
And at this particular point, you can't judge her.
You can't.
Some people would say she's wrong for not submitting, for not accepting. but she wants what she wants.
Yeah, you can't change that.
You
It's
can't
true.
change that. And I just wish more of us would be open to that idea that it is okay to marry the person you think you're with, but also be accommodating to the fact that this person can change.
Can change, it's true.
And accept them, and don't try to stifle them to fix into that old box.
Yeah, true.
Do you hear me?
I hear you, sis.
Girl, we have rigmaroled, we've gone everywhere. I
I
feel
know.
like this is a whole podcast on its own. But before we go a little bit out of context, this is Dubai's Diastories, where we aim to educate and empower you through thought-provoking stories of people living real lives and chasing their real dreams in the UAE. Is there something called a Dubai dream? Well, this is the one place where you can find out more of how your uniqueness doesn't necessarily have to fit into a box, but how Dubai is designed to help you achieve your dream and find the real you. So, how did your Dubai journey started? You've obviously mentioned you're in a relationship and you woke up and you realized there's more to it. So, what was that light bulb moment that made Nas realize, like, I'm booking my ticket, I need a change, and Dubai is where it's at?
So when I decided now, I took a 2-year break.
2 years?
Yes.
Okay.
This is where so I used to love traveling. I used to travel with my
Sis, not used
situation
to. You're like my wanderlust goals.
This is how it started, by the way. This is how it started. I used to travel.
Okay.
So when I was with him, we used to go every weekend. We'd travel somewhere. Every time we'll go somewhere, right? And then when that stopped, when our relationship ended, I took like a 6-month sabbatical and I went to Lamu, where I was like detached, island girl, living, sand,
Simple
toes,
life.
simple life, nothing much. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I want to travel for 2 years. So the money that I had saved, the little money that I had saved for myself, I left the country and I went. And I was not going to come back until the 2 years were done. This was my plan. So I had to make an Excel sheet. I had to make budget. Like I was traveling, backpacking. Yes, I was backpacking. I went backpacking
I would have
in
never said
Asia.
you're like the backpacking kind, because
See,
you give
this
me
is where you
glamping
start.
vibes.
Hey, let me tell you something.
Omo.
When you start, when you're
From
like,
the
from the
beginning.
beginning, these are the times where Instagram was not Instagramming, so we didn't have those time to post on all this and all that. And actually, back then, because of how my relationship was, we never used to be on social media. He hated that. Oh, taking pictures of my food. That's why right now I'm so active on Instagram, because I was in
You
a
feel
relationship.
like you missed
yes,
that
I
stage.
didn't do that. So I was in a relationship where if you go out and you see something cute, you can't take pictures because it's like, oh, that's so vain.
You're fitting into the box of
Exactly.
what woman he wants.
Exactly. So he was. So he was always making that comment of like, why are you taking pictures of food? Why are you there? So I stopped and I never got bothered to do it. So when I started traveling, that's when I was like, now started posting after our breakup. So I was like, posting. And I mean, where did I go?
New York recently. Girl. Like, I literally talked to you in the DM, and then next thing you know, Amaka, I'm going offline, but I'll reply when I get back. When you wake up, I'm like, is that not...
This is the difference between the Nas back then and the Nas now. The Nas now has capabilities to do whatever they want.
Freedom.
See that hotel? I like that hotel.
Yes.
I'll book it.
As soon as immediately.
Yes.
Unapologetically.
I don't
Excuse
care.
me,
I
one
don't need to
life.
ask anybody's permission. Whose bank account is it? Mine.
Period.
This is the good thing about independence. And this is what I love about. This is why I get motivation to go back to the office and nail those jobs, get those projects closed. Because at the end of the day, I'm thinking to myself, when I go on that holiday, I deserve it.
You've earned it.
I've earned it. Like, I want to go and enjoy, like, not even looking at my laptop and feel like, you know what? I'm not even going to feel guilty. But sometimes when I used to go out with somebody or, some situation or some boy or some man, I'd be feeling like, when I looking at the menu, I'm thinking, am I ordering the right thing? Am I not ordering too much because he's paying? No, I don't think like that. Even if I go on a date, I don't think about what I'm ordering. I'm ordering whatever the fuck I want. Oops, sorry.
It's okay. Say it.
I'm ordering what I
Bad and much. Sorry, but you're gonna have to toot a lot of this one.
I'm ordering what I want because I know at the end of the day I can afford it. And if that man says, let's split the bill, I'll split it. But
okay.
I'm never gonna see you again.
Period.
Because I don't go out with men who ask me to split the bill.
Correct.
And that's just me.
And it should be okay for you to feel that way.
And sometimes at work, I used to have a very cool fan colleague of mine that I love. She's from India. She's such an amazing girl. And we used to have so many contradicting concepts of dating, right? She has that conservative kind of dating. And best believe it, she used to come to me and say, Nas, I need your advice on dating. And I'm like, I'm single. Why do you want my advice? And she's like, the
Single
thing,
like a Pringle.
you know what you want.
Yes.
You don't give, you don't allow men to like,
Correct.
do nonsense to you.
True.
You
And
speak your truth.
Can I just pause you right there? And I personally feel that one mistake that I made in my 20s is that I didn't realize I was growing, and I constantly judged women who would do what I didn't believe in. And Momo said this perfectly. Like, we're living in an era where people feel that success looks like what is in their box.
In their box, yes.
But in essence, we don't stay the same every day.
True.
If I had married the man I was in love with in my 20s right now, I would tell you would be divorced. Because I even think about it and I'm like, excuse me, how? When?
How?
Where? How? Why?
You see the man right now.
I can't. I'm a completely different human being.
Yeah.
And that's why it goes back to the point that I mentioned before. If you're not adaptable and you welcome the idea that the woman you marry is not the same woman you're going to live with and be with in
20
your old
years
age,
or in 10 years or in 30 years.
and that's where I feel that there's a box that people cannot cross from. Because
yeah.
this idea of what a perfect relationship looks like is so picture perfect without accommodating that growth.
True. That's true.
Okay, let's go back. And I'm sorry to diverge from the relationship aspect because I feel like we can roll about this for
We
the rest
can
of our
go
lives.
on and on and on.
Girl,
I
we
mean,
can go.
men.
But then you ended up in events. Do
Mm-hmm.
you feel like this was a job that chose you or a job that you chose? How did you end up in events?
See, my background, actually, I have a bachelor in commerce, major in, finance.
I'm
and all
finding
that.
about this on this podcast. You see how stupid female friendships are. When we meet in the club,
We're like,
it says,
ooh,
I love
ooh,
your
ooh,
hair, I love your
what's
lashes.
this?
I've never known you had a bachelor in commerce.
Yeah, and then major in finance. So, and I was an accountant for 2 years.
Okay.
That's when I was back then in
Okay,
Kenya.
okay.
And then I started working in a company. I was doing bookkeeping for them, QuickBooks, things like that. And it was like an events company. It was called Marketing Africa.
Okay.
And they started doing events and blah, blah, blah. And I remember in the middle of that was just one gig.
Okay.
And then I got her internship here in Dubai.
Internship.
Yes,
Okay.
Deloitte. Baby girl.
The big four.
I had
not just
I had,
any internship.
yes,
The big four.
Yes, baby girl. I had
Oh,
two
Lord.
companies in my mind. I always wanted to work for PwC or Deloitte. When
Why
you do
the big
finance,
four?
when you do those,
Finance.
you want to work for this kind
There's
of
a
companies.
dream.
Yeah,
Correct, correct.
And then there was that office in Nairobi, that Deloitte office, that PwC
It always
office.
looked like New
Yes,
York in Nairobi.
you know?
I get you. Say
So
less.
I used to think of that. And then coming here for that internship and that experience. And then I met this local lady, Emirati lady.
Emirati lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was back then. Like, I think it was the first time I came to Dubai, I think it was 2014 or 2015 or something like that.
Okay.
And because I finished my school in 2015. So she was like, oh my God. And in the whole event that we had, like, there was like what do you call this? When you bring in new people and you have that.
Onboarding.
Yes.
Yes.
So we were having that interaction, and I knew everything about that property because I had been there for 3 days prior. And then I'm talking to everybody. I'm socializing. I'm a social butterfly. And everybody thought I was part of the organization crew. Everybody
What?
thought I was part of the organizing
Your
team.
confidence was that outstanding.
Yeah.
I love this for you.
Yeah.
I love this
And
for
I
you.
was 20 at that time, and everybody was like, oh, yeah, all this. And then she told me one thing that stuck with me. She said, if you ever need a job, if you ever want to work in Dubai, call me.
She said that.
Yeah. And
Just from that social
Yeah.
interaction.
yeah.
Wow. How did that make you feel?
It made me, I don't know. I was like, am I doing the wrong job? And I started, actually, those words stuck with me because I went home and every time I was just thinking about, oh my God, I can actually go to Dubai. I can actually do this. And let me tell you, when your future is decided, everything starts aligning. Because when I went to my Europe trip, because I didn't just come to Dubai
What
just
is
for
yours
the
will
sake.
never miss your door.
It will never miss your door.
It
It
might
will-
be delayed,
I
but never
swear.
denied.
Because after years, like 2-3 years later, I'm in Spain. I met someone in Spain, and he lives in Dubai. And
Oh,
like,
wow.
yeah. this is how I moved to Dubai. So he was living in Spain. I met him there, and we go out on a couple of dates. Nothing happens, and then we're like, oh, cool, and we just like had that instant
Bond.
connection.
Yes.
And he kept like, come visit me, please. And I said, Spain, Ibiza was my last leg of my trip.
For
Remember
those
my
2
2 years?
I remember. Yes.
So that was my last leg. I mean, Ibiza has to be like
Vibes.
woo-hoo-hoo,
Excuse me.
you know,
Living la vida loca.
So and then I get home and I keep thinking about this, and then he's like, come visit me. And I went and I came to Dubai. I came to visit
You know
him.
what? One thing I want to take from you as a superpower, I feel like just from what you've said, you're not a person who overthinks things.
I don't.
If I'm like, Ibiza, okay, security this, me, I'll be thinking security, men, diseases,
Oh,
this.
no.
You are
Oh,
like,
no.
if my spirit takes me there, let's go.
And can I tell you why I don't think about that?
Tell me.
Think about the things that people say about Kenya. Think about the things that people say about Somalia or Nigeria or any other country.
That last part.
Everybody
Now what?
has Nigeria.
We died there.
You know the situation
We
we're in right
died
now with
there.
Nigeria and UAE.
We died there. We died there. We died there. Let's not fight.
Nigerian food, Nigerian men, Nigerian this, Nigerian clothes, Nigerian everything. You know, Nigeria is the Italy of Africa.
I actually
Because
say-
you know how people like Italian men, Italian food, Italian clothes, Italian this. Now look at women in Africa.
We are dying
We
now.
like Nigerian men,
Omo.
Nigerian food,
Omo.
Nigerian clothes,
Omo.
Nigerian everything.
I cannot fight with this argument.
Nigerian music.
Have you ever seen Yvette this quiet? All I can say is
I hate
do
it
not.
now.
I'm not here to convince you or confuse you, but I agree. Yes, continue.
So yeah, then I moved. I came here and I fell in love with a guy, and he was like, you know what? Since you're now going back to work, why don't you come and explore working in Dubai? And I said, you know what? I'll take the 3-month visa and I'll come and explore my options. And then when I came here, I was looking around, and then I actually reached out to a couple of people, and then I got a job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you reach out to the lady who said if you ever need a job, like let me know?
Yes, I did.
And how did it go?
And then from that lady, the connection came, and then I ended up working for another lady here in Dubai.
Oh, nice.
She was also a local lady. Shout out to
You know yourself.
yeah, you know yourself.
You know
I don't want to
yourself.
mention her name, but she's been
Yes.
an amazing woman.
Oh.
And when I went for my first interview, I went as her personal assistant. She was such a defining moment for me, actually. And I love this woman so much, so much, because my entry in Dubai and the way she took care of me, the way she was so accommodating of my spirit and my vibe, because I'm a lot to
Your
take in.
energy is very
I'm an
out
acquired
there.
taste. Like, if you know me, you can either like me or not like. But I
You
haven't
either
met anybody who
acquire
doesn't
me or
like
you
me.
deny me, and
You
I
know.
don't judge you for what you choose.
Yeah, but if you don't like me, like, you have a problem. 'cause
Hello.
I'm like likable or whatever.
I am a vibe.
I'm a vibe.
Yes, and that's on purpose.
So that's on purpose. So yeah, she introduced me here, and she like paved the way for me. And she's such a strong woman. She's a CEO of
You know,
bags.
one thing I love about and this is like such a cultural assumption.
Yeah.
Is that because you associate to like Emiratis or local people very like being cultured, timid, I find them as some of the most accommodating people.
They are amazing people.
Non-judgmental.
Oh my God.
They welcome different perspective. Like, can you imagine what it takes to live in this country as a native and be able to accept different people from different parts
I
of the
know.
world with their different madness and their different
And
benefits?
you still accept them and love them, and they will not influence you.
Correct.
Because Emiratis are not influenced.
No.
You will not see, like,
I know one of my former my former, I'd say she was management, but she was Emirati, veiled. She'd always wear her abaya cover. But then there is no song I'll put for Drake
That
or
she
Chris-
doesn't know.
That she
I
doesn't know. She's very well accustomed and attuned to what pop culture looks like, what society looks like.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that it changes who
she is or what she believes
I
in.
love that.
Yeah, and actually, recently I went to Saudi, and
Let's
I
talk
met
about that.
Yeah, I met this amazing woman. Oh my God, she is she's a Saudi woman, but with the heritage from Somalia. So when we
Okay.
were talking, and you know how like Somalis and
East Africans,
Northern
close.
Sudans and
Yes.
people are, a lot of them are actually in UAE,
Correct.
in Saudi and all that.
Correct.
Very dominant actually here.
True.
And she was telling me, and I was telling her about how I've explored my spirituality in the sense that I've been a Christian, and I went to Oman and I converted to Islam. Nobody knows about this.
Pause.
You didn't even know about it. Even my mom doesn't know about it. Hi, Mom. I love you.
So let's go back to this. You had a
I'm uploading a lot.
spiritual awakening.
I did.
So your entire childhood life, what religion were you brought up as?
Catholic.
Same here.
Catechism, baptism,
Everything.
Holy Communion, everything.
Confirmation.
Confirmation.
And then you had a moment when you were in Oman.
Actually, before even that, after Catholic, I went to Pentecostal.
Okay.
But the only issue I had when I was Pentecostal, like, I never used to drink. I never used to. I was like, this was after my breakup. I was like serious, like Pentecostal person. But I have two sisters, remember?
Yes.
They're Christians to the blood, like those who believe with
Deep.
sex after marriage, those, those deep
I cannot
ones.
relate.
They're married already. My younger sisters, they're married, okay? And we got baptized, all of us, and they're all speaking in tongues. And I'm
bobo.
there, I'm baptized,
And you're like-
and I'm coming out and I'm not speaking in tongues. So
I
I'm
cannot
like,
relate.
what is happening?
Am I abnormal?
My mom speaks in tongue. My auntie speaks in tongue.
My
sister
sisters
speaks
speak in tongue.
My father speaks in tongue.
What's wrong with me?
What's wrong with me? What's my own? Maybe I have a different calling. So what happened was I
no.
went to Oman for a project, right? An event. And I kept saying, I like visiting mosques. For me, mosques are very calm.
Do you find peace?
I find so much peace.
When I went to the
So,
Abu
like-
Dhabi mosque, everybody goes there for the glitz and glam, but there's a certain peace that overtook me. And I think it even starts from the process of like, I have to humble myself, cover myself.
Yeah.
It's like I'm coming into this with the choice of
I
respecting.
actually felt so respected, so pure. When anytime I wear an abaya, anytime I cover myself up, I feel when I'm walking around, I'm like, yeah, you better respect me. Do you see what I'm wearing?
do you see why I'm on the rich auntie
exactly.
vibes?
Like this. And this is why we call this rich auntie vibes.
I have come to discover that less is more.
Less is more.
Modesty
For sure.
is where it's at. And it's
Girl.
not even like showing skin is amazing. Teasing is okay. But the unknown is what the unknown is where it's at.
It's true.
And sometimes I feel like when we embrace these different cultural dynamics, your first point of reaction is to attack.
Yeah.
But then when maturity kicks in, you're like, let me try and understand where they're coming
Where
from.
they're coming from, yeah.
And you actually realize, I see the value. I see the modesty. I see the beauty in like trying to cover yourself and like this is saved for someone.
Someone else,
It is
not
such-
you.
exactly.
Like you don't deserve to see me.
So
Like
you had this awakening when you went to the mosque.
yeah, so I went to the mosque and I actually visited it just to take pictures and because I like that serenity. And I remember my production manager was in the car and I told him, guys, I'm not going to leave Oman. This is the second time I'm in Oman. I'm not going to leave Oman if I don't see the mosque, if I don't visit the mosque. And he was like, okay, we'll go, Nas. And they didn't go in with me. So I went inside and I took an hour. And best believe me, they waited for me. And I went to take a picture. And then when I'm coming out, I met this lady. And there was an entrance. Actually, there was a bookstore. And curiosity, I just went in. And then next to the bookstore, there's another door that leads to like new converts and like information about Islam. And I was like, I'm curious because for me, I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I believe in one God. Don't get me wrong. I'm a firm believer there's a higher power out there that takes care of us, that looks
because
out
a lot of
out
this
for
universe
us.
you cannot explain
cannot.
without a higher power.
You cannot.
You cannot.
Yeah, and trust me, I've seen the difference. Like when I'm mad at God or when I'm pissed, things don't go my way, And I'm like, oh, I'm
when
so
you're
pissed, and I'm
fighting
like
your
this, and I'm like this.
purpose,
I'm
God
like,
is saying,
I
"Go
want this,
here."
I want this. Why you not giving me this? And then I stop praying, I stop focusing on that. But when I'm in my truth and I keep saying, God, if this is meant for me, let it be for me.
Let it align.
Stay. And when I stop doing that prayer, a lot of things don't work out. And right now, a lot of things may not work out because I'm not saying that prayer. But trust you me, I realize one thing, whether you're Christian or you're Muslim, you're praying to one God.
Facts.
The only difference is the root and the path and the prophets and this. And I always say, I want to understand Islam. I want to understand what is their truth.
And there's so much similarity than differences.
In the Bible, it says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So I said, I'm not going to be that person who lacks knowledge.
You're not going to perish. Why?
So why should I not learn about Islam? Why should I not know more about what they believe in, what they understand in?
Can I just say something? For me, the curiosity of Islam has come. And I have been with one man in my life. And for me, it's the way he was in so much control of his personal success. He was wealthy, had successful businesses, but to see him submit to a higher power, a person of this caliber and pedigree,
Yeah.
knowing that on my own I can achieve this.
Yeah.
But he still had a conditioning and a faith.
Faith, yeah. And a focus, like God
And a
directs
focus
me. Allah
and a
direct me to this.
commitment.
Yeah.
It didn't resonate with me because, and this particularly happened during that season of prosperity gospel,
Yeah.
where I felt like Christianity always pushed me towards, let me pray to achieve this.
Yeah.
But then after that, nobody tells me what happens
Appreciate or be thankful or do this or,
And I learned so much from him that probably because of how it ended, the conversion did not take place. But had it lasted just a little bit longer,
You would have.
I completely understand and see your perspective.
But I still get scrutinized by my my production manager. Who's like,
Hello.
"Oh, Nas, it's Friday. Why are you not going to the mosque?" And I'm like, "Listen,
my race, my pace.
yes. When I want to, I will do it.
Correct.
Because at the end of the day, it's my relationship with my God. I don't come
Correct.
questioning you
True.
about your relationship with your God.
True.
I went to that mosque to know about what it is they believe in, what it is they, and what I met was something that was so amazing, so accommodating, and pure and nice. And they're like telling me what Allah wants for people. Allah believes in this, and He wants this for His people. And I was like, this is amazing. And I remember one thing I always say: if Christianity was half the way that Muslims are, it would be amazing.
Correct.
But we have so many things that are happening, so many controversies that are happening, and you don't see this in
Islam.
True. You go to
It
a
doesn't
mosque,
mean
you
they don't
respect
happen.
It happens.
But the overarching respect is there.
Is there,
True.
And then, what were we talking about again?
Sis,
Because we keep digressing.
Me and you, we can go for
I think we could go for 2-3 hours.
So we're talking about how your conversion journey came about.
Yes. So after that, a whole conversion. Actually, we were talking about my work and everything.
Yes.
So after that whole situation that happened there, I came back to Dubai and everything. Back to when I came to Dubai, right? And then I worked here for a better part of in this company for 2 years with this local lady who was amazing, and then it was a photography company. And I was like more of managing events and those events that we were doing and all that. And then I got a job to work in Abu Dhabi. And then I got a tourism job. And in the middle of all this, I took a break again. I used to have a rule where I'll only work in a company for 1 year and then I take a break and I travel. Because for me, travel is very important.
Wanderlust. And that's why I introduced you as the queen of wanderlust.
It's the thing that fuels me. Like if I'm coming to office, I want to look forward to a trip.
So you're the kind of person who constantly has to work towards a goal.
Yes.
Interesting.
I am not going to be a happy person. And trust me, you will see it. Even currently, right now in my job, my bosses have seen it when I'm like deviating or going down. And I never spoke up to them and told them like, listen, I need a break, I need a trip, I need this. But for me to function like properly, I need a break. I need to be out there.
You need to know you're working towards achieving something. For Nas.
Because
which goes back to what we said at the beginning about dating the guy. You are not doing something for Nas.
I was doing something for
losing your identity.
Exactly. So, and I don't want my job to be another relationship where I lose my identity too. I mean, let's face it. I'm currently when I got this job after COVID, I had a lot to prove. When I came to Dubai, I had a lot to prove generally as a Black woman.
Speak on it, sis.
This
is a safe space.
I used to walk in rooms. I remember when I was working in Abu Dhabi, we were doing government events. Okay, so when we're doing pitches, we use event pitches go in envelopes, and you have to pile them up, package them, send them in the post office, and wait for your time.
Tender.
Yes, like a tender. It's all tendering. And then would be called now for interviews. Like the whole company will go to do the presentation. So and then you go to the presentation room, you're like 5 companies there,
And you have to pitch.
Yes. And you're like 5 companies at that time, you know that company, you know the other company, you know the other company, right? And I'm there. I'm a Black woman, right? And I'm entering in a government office. Let's give, I don't want to mention names, but big government names.
Yes.
Right? I see the people there. And here in Dubai, a lot of people, not just in Dubai, all over the world. Generally, people
Yes.
respect passports. People respect European passport,
Come
American
on.
passport,
I
Canadian
have
passport.
seen somebody who has been Kenyan like me. But because they were smart, and the first thing they did when they got here is that they immigrated to Canada. They come back, same position as me, and earn more just because of their passport. It doesn't mean that it's like a systematic way of demeaning someone. It just means that that government has worked to a certain degree and level to be able to warrant their people to certain opportunities.
True. And you're talking to a person who's actually had the opportunity to have a different passport. I've had that. You understand?
Of course,
But
you
I
just
chose.
mentioned it.
I chose to.
You chose yourself.
I chose myself, and always get that. And I said, I don't care. It's my choice and my passport, and
I'll deal with the
I'm a
consequences.
stick beside it. You know?
I'm a stick
I'm a stick
beside
beside
it.
So I walk in there, and trust me, I used to be very scared. Like going to present and doing all this presentation. I've always been. I'm a vocal person. I'm very chatty, very bubbly. I mean, in close. How
have
many times?
amazing
How many times
networking
did I tell
skills.
you I was very scared of
True.
speaking?
True.
Right?
True.
I have always been like that, even doing a presentation in front of people. So now imagine me, a black woman, a woman, and I'm black.
You already feel like you're coming with a minus.
Yes, I'm coming with a minus, and I'm entering a room of local people, CEOs, big heads of departments, of cultures, of
Yes,
in
companies.
the governments. In the
True.
government entities.
And
I'm
you're
going
pitching
there
in
to
a foreign
pitch.
currency.
Yes.
That's the part people never talk about. Like, I remember when I first got my first deal, and it was like $30,000 when I was working. I was working for an investments company, events as well.
Yeah.
They used to connect like family offices with potential business startups way back when. And I'm seeing like one event is like $30,000 per person. And I'm calculating that in Kenya
In Kenya shillings, you're like, oh, more. Who, baby?
This can change my life.
I know.
So you're already coming in with a minus mentality, but you
Yeah.
have to show up with your full chest.
True.
So I understand you.
So I used to go in there with a point to prove. And I swear to God, I used to stay so many hours practicing and doing the best that I can. And I always used to deliver. And I would say one thing, that over the years, that feeling that pressure of being that woman in the room, that black woman in the room, because every time I've always been in a room where it's white, other nationalities, and I'm the only black person. And I always felt like my voice wasn't heard. So I had to work twice as much to be able to be heard. And you know
Double
me
the
and my
courage.
personality,
I know
right?
you, girl. Say less.
Yes. And
Say less.
I knew that I had a point to prove to every time. And I knew I was great. And I actually watched people take credit of my work, including my managers, where I would give amazing ideas and I would take credit and run with
And
it.
that's another thing about being a feminine,
Girl.
successful person in your industry, is that when men succeed, and this is not like to judge anyone in specific, I just think it's a very stupid gender notion that nobody speaks about.
Yeah.
Because women, we are designed to absorb, and then when we explode, people call us crazy,
yeah.
angry, black women.
Women, yeah. Oh, I hate that.
Men will always get
I hate
credit
that.
individually.
They do.
Engineer, so and so.
In
But
this,
then
this,
as a
this.
woman, they say, oh, more, she's worked so well with the family to achieve this.
This.
Nobody will ever give you credit
on yourself.
as you.
And actually, speaking about credit, there's, sometimes I'll tell you something. And it will happen. Like when I used to do proposals, like even right now, I can do a proposal, right? I'll work on a proposal. I'll work on a pitch. I'll pitch to the client. I'll do the client meeting. I'll do all that. And then I'll get the team together and I'll make everything work for this project.
Correct.
I'm not working on this project just because it's my project, but because it's my name on the line. The client knows Naserian as the project manager.
When the client wants to speak to somebody, it's not team.
Yes. They will say, where's Nas? And let me tell you something. If something goes wrong,
it's Nas.
It's Nas.
Oh, that's the part where
it's
they remember
Naserian.
But when the
Naserian,
team is
the project
winning,
manager, yes.
When the team is winning, it's a team achievement.
Yes. So it happens a lot. And I this is actually something that I haven't even spoken about or addressed it. I may have mentioned it to one person only, but I would feel some type of way because I put in a lot of hours. Like I work so late to work on a proposal.
See, sometimes I wake up and I watch your stories and I'm like, this girl was writing a proposal at 4 a.m. Meanwhile, I was snoring. I'm waking up to warm my kettle of coffee and I'm saying Nas has been to 2 meetings and it's only 7 a.m.
I know.
And I'm here thinking I work hard.
Yeah.
You challenge me so much. And for me to allow that credit just on account of being female and black to be diluted, it takes an enormous amount of strength.
See,
and
I
want to
always say to
applaud
myself,
you for that.
I always say to myself that I know I should say I'm working for a company, but at the end of the day, it's my name. When I'm working on a proposal, it's my name on the line. And I even on my interviews, I actually used to say I'm actually a perfectionist. I have a certain way of doing my work, and the only negative thing about me is that at some point I stop being a team player because when people don't do the work, I take it up and I do it myself.
Correct. I am open
You understand what I
to
mean?
being the bad person on account of delivering good
Yes.
things.
And I'm actually sometimes even in the office, and I have such an amazing relationship with my production manager. He's the best, right? And we have that work social relationship where he understands me. He actually gets me, right? And I tell him, listen, you be the good cop. I'll be the bad cop. And I'm more than okay because as long as I get my work done, I'm good. Because let me tell you, a client
doesn't matter how.
a client will know you are representing your office, right?
Correct.
Right? But at the end of the day, it's you who's working on it.
True.
So believe me, at some point I used to actually feel some type of way when we would do some projects, and you sometimes you want to feel people being grateful to you. You want to receive that acknowledgement.
And
we don't want to accept it, but
can I pause you there? There's a certain point of my life where money felt like enough credit because it could buy me those desires that I felt like I wanted to achieve. But then you get to a point and you realize you didn't plan beyond that point.
Yeah.
And when you get there, the one thing that gives you that boost, that morale, is that motivation of knowing I'm recognized as me.
As me, yeah.
Not as money. Because when the money comes to my bank account, it goes to my bank account. The team does not know the amount of money I've received in my bank account.
True.
So that recognition right there, girl, I feel you.
See, let me tell you something. And I keep saying this and I actually thought about this for a while. Because the current job that I'm working at, the people that I work with, they became a family to me because the job I was working at before was very toxic.
Okay.
So when I came to this job, I fortunately loved my boss so much because she was such an inspiration. I have 2 bosses. But there's this lady and she's such an inspiration to me. And I actually gravitate towards women of power, women who've achieved so much for themselves. And when I used to look at this woman, I would be like, wow, this is what I want to
I have my aspirational.
You know? And I would be like, let me tell you the truth. I have been poached by... I'm on LinkedIn.
Hello.
And you know how people can find you on LinkedIn. I've been found by so many people on LinkedIn.
But what keeps you loyal?
People on LinkedIn who offer me more money. More money than what I'm actually getting. But at the end of the day, I look at myself that I still have a lot to gain in this company. I still have a lot to learn from this specific lady. And I'll tell you, the reason why I'm actually staying in this company longer and longer is because of I discover more about her, and I learn more. I learn a lot.
And that's why people say people don't leave companies, they leave bosses.
True.
You can find an amazing company that does everything right. But if the person you aspire to be, or the person who is coaching you and guiding you, doesn't speak to you, you will leave. It doesn't matter how great the company is.
100%.
Because and that's one thing that I am facing right now, dealing and working in startups, is that in my 20s,
startups.
I can write an entire book. Let's not start today. You know why? Let's not start today.
I know.
You know why? But the thing is with startups, this whole thing of like as you grow, you kind of create your own role.
Yeah.
But I'm the kind of person who needs a role model. I need someone that is doing better than me, in line with what is driving me and my vision, to show me the day-to-day.
Absolutely.
I cannot aspire to a Nas working in a different industry in a higher power if I don't know what her day-to-day looks like?
Exactly.
And I remember having this conversation with one of my managers, and I said, there are 3 things that drive Yvette: my head, my heart, my hand. What I think, what I feel, and what I do.
You do,
I
yeah.
feel like a lot of startups focus on driving my mind.
Yeah.
Speed, achieving goals, this money.
Money.
But there's a reason why the heart is in the middle.
It's in the middle, yeah.
Because heart determines behavior, heart determines attitude, heart determines
Oh.
foresight.
Speak.
So if you can't speak to my heart, there's no way my head and my hand will
Will
connect.
follow, yeah.
There's no way.
They will not collaborate.
There's no way.
Because they all have to work hand in hand together.
And that's why you find now with millennials, they jump from one company to the other. They're jumpers.
Bro, let me
because
tell
they're
you.
constantly seeking that spirit.
Let me tell you, and this is something actually we spoke about at work. Like, we've noticed about millennials, they give up so easily. They don't have the willpower to fight.
No.
They used to.
In
Everything
fact,
coming
fighting
easy.
is toxic.
Hey,
There's someone who actually
I'm
says,
like, who brought these people
there's
up?
somebody who said something the other day that made so much sense to me. It said, clever people with EQ, debate, are silencing themselves so as not to insult the people who don't have that. Because now the moment you're open or contradictory, you're cancelled.
Yeah. And why do I have to be confined in a box?
Why?
Why do I have to agree with everything that you say?
Why can't I say what we know everyone in the room is thinking? Why am I penalized for sharing my opinions? Worse off if I say that and I'm from a different color or creed. Now I'm rebellious.
Now you're rebellious. Oh, you're doing something that's out of the...
I carry that rebellion for my head. Because that is where the true essence of growth starts. That question of change, that itch in your throat that you cannot silence. The moment I feel like my spirit is being stifled when I'm in my truth, that's when I know I'm not in the right place.
You know, and circling back to what I was saying about the work environment and people inspiring you, it's important to have that person to inspire you, especially in your career, in your work life. Because if I'm 30, there's someone at 40 who's done better.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Exactly.
Correct.
If you're 40, there's someone 50 and 60.
Correct.
You have to have an aspiration. You have to have someone to look up to.
True.
And what I say to myself, if I'm going to be employed, like if I was to choose, let's give it an example. If I was to choose between working for, a startup or working for an established company,
okay,
I would definitely go for an established company. Because let's face it, if I go for a startup, why can't I do my own startup?
True.
Because these people, what happens is that you help them start up their company and they forget about you.
Simple.
You help them and then they start becoming good and and then they start looking for cheaper,
better
manpower.
Not better. They want followers.
Younger.
They don't want thinker.
Younger, cheaper people.
They look for energy and not grit and
they start saying,
sense.
"Oh, you're not millennial enough.
Correct.
You're not
open. You're not coachable. You're not open to change. But I'm like, I've done this for this long, lived in this country, understand how this industry operates.
Why don't you let me live and show you what I can do?
Thank you.
With what I know, with the experience that I have.
You're open to trying and failing, but the moment that I throw in a caveat, because it's not my company, I'm wrong.
I hate that.
Anyways,
and I actually hate toxic environment. I hate toxic work environment. I hate toxic work environment in the sense of manipulative bosses.
Okay. Yes.
That will say they're supporting you. I'm there for you.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay.
But then they'll still slide in a sentence that will stick with you because you're not a stupid person.
Again,
you are a smart
to the
person.
Heart.
You might not say it to their faces,
correct,
but it stays with you in your heart.
True.
And some bosses never realize this, but facts and things that hurt you, they manifest. Small statements manifest over time.
True.
And when people start questioning, why are people leaving the company? Why is this person resigning?
True.
Why is this person doing this?
There's always that one company
There's a seed that was planted.
Thank you. There's always that one department in that one company that has a constant LinkedIn job that is advertised every 6 months. Because those people who are there have not been welcomed to think with their brains. They just want people who are doers.
Yeah.
What I say from the top needs to be executed. Whether it's right or wrong,
You
and
have to do it.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of people don't fit into that box anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, I felt like we've rigmarolled a lot. And thank you so much for being open about your experiences, being vulnerable, sharing. I love the story about how you came to the transition with your relationship and relationship with religion and all that. And even in your new religion, how you're taking your own time to understand it and run this race at your pace. Because time is of the essence, I wanted us to play a little bit of a this and that.
Okay.
What I've discovered about this platform is like I don't try to cover everything in one episode because obviously 7 years in Dubai can be like a decade. I'm sure there's like a lot of things we can explore.
A lot.
I like to keep the window open so that if I need to invite you again, we pick up from where we left off.
Where we left, sure.
So this is not a goodbye, but a see you later.
See you later.
So let's play this or that. Are you comfortable with that?
Yes, I am.
Cool.
Open to all the questions.
Yes. Open
No filter.
Since we've already established that you have wanderlust and you love to travel and like traveling is your middle name, beach vacation or city exploration?
I'm a bitch. I'm an island. Oh.
You're a what?
I'm a beach girl. I'm an island baddie. I love the beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's why I love Dubai. It has the city and the beach vibes.
So it gives you
like
a little
all
bit
in
of
one.
both.
Yeah.
I know you don't sleep, but I'm just going to ask this for the sake because sometimes we adopt than actually living in our true selves. Would you say you're an early bird or you're a night owl?
I'm a night owl. For sure.
Is it safe to say that a lot of people in the creative space are actually night owls?
I think so. Because I'll tell you something. If it was up to me, I would actually work from home. I'm more productive when nobody's in the office. The moment people start leaving the office at 6 p.m., my mind wakes up. The time that I think of the best ideas of a concept, an event ideas, is when everybody's out of the office. So I have that thinking space because when you're in the office during the day, a lot of distractions.
There's so many things to be done.
So many movements. Someone brought this lunch. Someone did that. Someone is eating this. Someone
This
is doing
concept,
this.
this idea.
You know, a lot of things. And, you're one person.
Yeah.
There's only a lot that you can take.
So which part of events do you enjoy the most now that we've gone back there? Would you say it's like the concept generation or the actual execution?
Oh, my God.
Which part speaks to your spirit most?
The excitement for me comes with the concept generation.
Really?
Actually. Yes.
But
You
I
know
think you're so
why?
good at executing because
I do. Because this is the thing. When you have a concept, you want to see it come to life. You want to see the idea that you
imagination
had
to reality.
to reality. Exactly. So it's amazing for me if I tell a client this is what is in my mind, or when we're having that concept discussion with team and we're all brainstorming and we're all coming up with ideas and we're putting one and two together. I love that. I love that a lot. And I remember one time in one of those many companies that I told you that always sought me out,
Yes.
like seek me out in LinkedIn,
Yes.
they said the job is concept generation for events.
So they're paying you for your imagination.
So there's actually a job that can
for my
actually pay.
imagination. The things that are in my head that have
Things
not
that
come
are
to
in
life.
my head that
I love it. I love it.
And for you to come up with a concept, you need blank spaces. You don't need a lot of activities around you. You need zen areas. You need blank spaces. You need a black canvas so that you can bring out and paint out your imagination and creativeness.
Okay. Now I'm gonna throw it a curveball because obviously I feel like we've appealed to your
Yvette.
this is Dubai
Okay,
Diastories.
okay.
I will throw you. Just follow me wherever I go.
Okay, I'm with you.
In terms of an ideal partner, all right, I feel like we've gone through the motions of you growing and your needs changing as a woman. But at this juncture that you are in your life, are you more attracted to an introvert partner or an extrovert partner?
I love introverts.
Oh, really?
I love quiet men. I love men that will listen to me because, as you can tell, I'm a
A
talkative
big
person.
personality, honey.
I'm a very big personality that you have to accommodate, right? And I love me a quiet man, a quiet man, and I have a pattern actually from all the men that I've dated. They're all always quiet, or either they don't drink, they don't like going out, they're quiet, and it's something I actually didn't. I went to a therapist, and we were having the discussion, and he was like, paint a picture for me of all the men that you've dated and tell me what is similar about all of them. And you know what was similar?
The quietness.
The quietness.
You lie.
They don't drink.
Or more.
They're quiet. They don't drink. Quiet. Don't drink.
So it's actually true when they say unlike attract each other.
Babe, all the
It's
men
true.
that I have actually dated are quiet and don't drink.
non-drinkers. I love that for you. Now, this is the part where I'm particularly curious. You're someone who is open to exploring different experiences, new dimensions, new destinations on your own.
Yeah.
But do you feel like you would enjoy a trip more when you're solo or when you're with a partner?
See, for the past 6 years, wait, 2017 to 2023. How long
18,
is
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 6 years. You're right.
that? So for the
On
past
money.
6 years, I have traveled alone. Right? And actually, before those 6 years, there was 2 years. So 8 years, I have traveled alone. Okay? And I've traveled alone. I've done a lot of solo travels. I've done a couple of girlfriends' travels and this. And I wouldn't say I want to pick the couple travel because for me, I actually do enjoy traveling alone and just enjoying. You know, I don't like being put in these schedules that people put you in.
Or you're constantly feeling, are they enjoying as much as
I am,
enjoying?
you know, and like forcing your enjoyment on
Correct.
people. I want to
Correct.
wake up and do my own
Forcing
thing.
your enjoyment
yeah,
on
I'm like,
people.
babe, isn't this amazing?
Yes.
Do you love this?
Oh my
And
God,
I'm
I
like,
went here and I did this. Oh my God, I feel so full.
I don't want to do that. I want to just go and be like, oh my God, I'm enjoying this, guys.
Yes.
Look at this.
I'm
And
living my best life.
I know. And some people would judge me for taking my own videos and documenting my own stories. But I actually like it because I actually do go back to my highlights and I'm like, oh, look at this time. I had such a good time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So
But I do want to experience
the other side.
a vacation, which I am going
The
to
soft
experience.
life.
I am
The
going to
baby girl-
experience a soft life baby girl
Baby girl
vacation.
experience. Hello.
Keep it locked.
I love it. If you know, you know.
If you know, you
Green
know.
circles only.
You're about to enjoy the baby girl vacation.
Oh, my sister, only one life to live. Don't deprive yourself. Yes. At the end of the day, all these beautiful things that we have, we'll never take them to the grave. It's only our memories.
True.
So you sense to decide what matters most to you.
Yeah.
So I feel like speaking to you, you have a perfect blend of where you took risk and focused on what drove you to get you where you are here. But would you say you're more of career focused or work-life balance? Like, which one makes more sense to you? Which one would define you?
I'm work-life balance.
Work-life balance.
This is very important.
And I think this was a stupid question for me to ask because you've just mentioned before we mentioned this that you have to have something that you're working towards,
Yeah.
like a
This
trip,
This is something
like a
that
reward.
This is something that I tell myself every time I work, and especially when I do a big event, I want to take a vacation right after. In fact, before I jump on another big project, I want to take a holiday. If you have the money to do it, and if
Why
you have the
not?
breath to do it,
Why
and
not?
if you have your holiday days to do it,
Why
why
not?
not take it?
Why not?
Why do I have to wait for another time? If I want to take it now, I'll
So
take
if
it
I
now.
was to give Nas a gift right now that I know would mean everything to her heart and soul, what would it be?
A vacation.
Really?
A vacation.
Doesn't have to be a bag or a watch
No,
or
babe.
what.
And can I actually tell you something? When
Tell me.
I've lived in Dubai for 7 years, and for the longest time, buying a Gucci bag, Louis Vuitton bag, Dior bag was never my priority. When I moved to Dubai, 2 years into Dubai, I went and actually with my salary, I bought myself one Gucci bag, and I bought myself one Dior bag. Dior bag is not small money.
I know, my
It's not
sister,
small money.
please.
You drop 25K
Oh,
just like that for one bag.
One bag.
And by that time, that was 2017. I
Hey.
was 25.
Girl.
My own money. And then you know what my friends were telling me? They all thought that a man bought that for me. Everyone thought that whatever I had,
Was
a man bought
acquired
it
by
for
a
me.
man.
the Gucci bag itself would have been more than a couple thousands.
Correct.
But everybody kept giving gratitude to a man that was non-existent at that time. So at some point of my life, actually, and I'll bring this up, I met someone very wealthy. He wants to marry me. He's like ready to have kids. Ready for the whole shebang.
Yeah.
But this is a rich man. And he was already having a problem with me working. He was telling me, I'm ready to marry you. I want to have kids with you. I want everything. And this is a man that lives in Saudi, works in Saudi, and wants to move to Dubai. You understand?
I understand.
And I told him, listen, I would have a problem because I'm a career woman. If I'm going to be working and you're there as my husband or my significant other, and you're doing the most for me, no matter what I do, everybody will give credit to you. Because you have more money than I do. Right? You understand what I mean? So it takes away the hard work I've done.
Your own personal, your own effort, blood, sweat, and tears.
Babe, that was enough for me to break up with the person.
It is painful.
Because I said, if I am going to date you,
and
I have to stop working.
Will not understand why you did that.
No one will understand.
They will be like, but at the end of the day, you have a man.
My friend did not understand. My friend was like, why would you leave that?
And it's okay for her not to understand.
Yeah.
And but it doesn't mean you should change yourself.
Sometimes at work, I joke and I'm like, guys, I'm tired of this work life because I'm not a morning person.
Me too.
I'm tired. I want to go home and be a housewife. I want to be a rich housewife. I want to be a Jumeirah Jane.
You know?
Hello? I want to wear my tennis skirt, go to tennis classes.
I want to wear my Pilates shoes and just be like, I'm meeting Amy for coffee before we take the kids for ballet. And like, you know, Reggie has like piano classes.
Exactly. Like, oh my God.
And I have to do my Botox.
Are we going? Yeah. Are we going to? Are we going for golfing?
Yes.
Wife golfing.
Yes.
They even have that.
Yes.
You know. So
high tea.
Yeah. And I told him, listen, if I'm going to marry you or if I'm going to be with you, it means I have to stop working. Because I will feel very pained to be working and accomplishing all these things and you taking the credit. That will never fly with me.
You can't take my identity away from me.
You will never take my credit. And he had a problem with me. Actually, you know how women complain about men not replying messages? He used to complain about me not replying his messages. And he's like, I can see you WhatsApp online.
This conversation,
why are you not replying my text?
Save it for when Momo is here because I know this is her area of expertise. Like I said, this is not a goodbye, but I'll see you later.
Because we need to have Momo here.
We need to have Momo here.
Like more intense.
A proper debate. Because time is of the essence, and of course we've overstayed our welcome. I just wanted to, when people see you online, I feel like they get to experience more of the wanderlust Nas, constantly traveling, and you have an amazing, impeccable taste for the finer things in life. But what is the one thing that you feel is most misunderstood about you?
I think the one thing is my confidence. I think everybody thinks that I'm such a confident person that, when I go out with Nas, she's just confident. She's very good with men. She's very good with people. She's very good with... Everybody just
She can fit in anywhere.
She just can fit in anywhere.
Yeah.
Try going out with me. Try telling me, hey, babe, you know how you can go with your girlfriend and you're like, babe, look at that guy.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'll be like,
please... Go ahead.
Excuse me.
Leave me out of this.
Leave me in my bubble.
Leave me in my bubble.
Allow me to breathe.
Yeah. One thing I'm not an approachable person. Unless I know you,
and
unless we're
comfortable.
good, unless we're friendly. And I'm a very friendly person, but I do study people. I do take my time to learn. And I can tell you like, oh my God, you don't have a good vibe. You don't have a good personality, but if you don't get along with me, you have a problem. Plainly tell you that you have to analyze yourself because I can get along with people, but I can also say that I'm a very straightforward person. I'll tell you, honey, you're such a good vibe.
That's very true, by the way. And I feel like for you, one reason why you'd be misunderstood is that it's black and white. You don't sugarcoat.
I don't.
And it's either you take it with a pinch of salt or you get completely offended.
Very true.
And depends on you. I don't care.
Yeah.
And someone will think, she's being bitchy or this or that.
Like I said, an acquired taste. This is something that one girl said. Nas is an acquired taste. And I said,
I have nothing more to say.
I'm like,
You've nailed it on the head.
Thank you.
As we're ending, this beautiful lady in royal green looking all luxurious and muddied up honey, living her best life. based on your personality, the energy that you've radiated through this entire episode, if there was one girl like sitting in any corner of Africa right now, thinking as to whether they should take the plunge, take the risk to actually come and do it, because I feel like you're one person who dares with so much confidence.
Yeah.
I probably would have not made that decision of going for a 2-year trip in Europe without a lot of self-doubt. I'll probably need to do it with someone else to convince me
To convince
why.
you, yeah.
But you did it audaciously on your own.
Yeah.
So what would be that one statement that you would tell that person who's feeling like they're lost, but deep down they have an inner Nas in them?
I would say, for me personally, is just take that leap of faith. But don't just take it, plan towards it. Have a goal, focus on it, and make a plan. That Excel sheet, hey, it's very helpful.
Excel has been
That
excelling.
Excel has been excelling. You know, make those dates, make your plans. This is the thing that we fail in life, where we don't make a plan. We don't write our plans down. You have to write down your plans. You have to write down your goals. You have to write down where you see yourself in 6 months. Where do I see myself? In 1 year, where do I see myself? And then in 6 months, please circle back and check, what have I accomplished that I plan to accomplish?
You see, that's why
And what am I leaving for the next?
That's why I tell
you know?
everybody, I'm a trust fund baby. My parents trusted me enough to fund myself.
Hey!
Because they knew, this one, whether we die or we live,
This is
she'll be all right.
Yeah, this is something actually like I complained to my mom about. And I said, Mom, why do you favor my sisters more than you favor me? My younger sisters. And she's like, Nas, you're me. You were like a strong woman. Like when I know Nas is there, she's got it. I don't have to worry about you. But when it's your sisters, because I know they're like, a bit softy, a bit this. They don't got
come into
themselves.
their Nas
But when I
yet.
think it's you, she still tells me, like, Nas, you're me. You're a strong woman. When I know you put your mind to something, you will get it. And can I tell you something? And I prophesy to myself always.
Manifestation.
I manifest to myself. And I do manifest to my friends as well. And I have many, many friends. Even right now, I have a friend that I kept telling her, she was here in Dubai, and I told her, you're going there with a focus. She was traveling to Nigeria, and she was just going there she was going to Ghana, and then she was going to go visit friends and this. And I told her, babe, you're not coming back to Dubai without finding what you truly want. And I kept telling her, and I told her, as long as I tell you this and you believe in it and you keep manifesting it for yourself, it will happen. And people don't see it that way. But even during COVID times, I came to Dubai and I kept telling myself, I'm going to learn an amazing job and I'm going to push myself to the limit. And this is why I have never even shaken in the position that I am right now, in the job that I'm working right now. I haven't been moved a bit because I felt like I prayed for this. I wanted to be here. So no matter how many companies will tempt me or do this, I'm still not done.
This is my blessing.
This is where I need to be
This is what I
now.
prayed for.
And until I'm done with it, and I feel like I'm fulfilled, I'm quenched, my thirst is done, then I can move on and step onto the next step that God has defined me to be. Because I feel like you need to understand your power. You too need to understand your power. And I've told you, Yvette, 1,000 times, this is your calling. This is your calling. When I saw your first podcast, I was like, girl, you remember I told you the story. I told you the story about how when I moved to Dubai, I was looking for that black woman power, and I saw your page on Instagram, and then it lured me to your YouTube, and then I watched like 20 YouTubes of you and Momo and doing all this. Oh, no, I know, and and we had those. I watched like 20 of your YouTube videos, and they were all inspirational videos, right? And I kept saying, this girl, she's going somewhere, And as much as we deviate from our calling, we can try and get distracted. The devil will always try and distract us with so many things.
And the devil always likes to destroy good things.
When
he knows you're working towards that thing, that's when he comes and
you
puts
will
his
be
madness.
distracted by so many things. You'll be distracted by so many things. True. But let me tell you, the moment I met you and the moment I saw you online, I was like, fuck, this girl is, she's doing good. And I would feel sad sometimes. I would be sad. And then I watch your video and I'm like, this another woman going through what I am actually going through, crying myself to sleep because of work stress, and you were actually talking about it on YouTube. So I was like,
I'm not a
I'm not
unicorn.
alone.
I'm okay.
I'm not alone.
I've found my people.
You know?
I actually fit in.
Yeah.
I'm standing
and
out
I
and
remember
fitting
reaching
in.
out. I was not even scared. I reached out to you and I was like, girl, I relate to you in
True.
so many ways and I need to hang out with you. We need
True.
to hang out. And
you know,
that's
you're
how
like
it
one
happened.
of the few people who me and you can be sitting next to each other. All of us are on our phones, but we're with each other.
We're with each other.
And I'm like, see this meme, we laugh, quack, 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 quack. All of us
And that's
fucking
it.
our phones.
And
we're
talk about
okay.
the voice notes. Talk about the voice notes.
Sis.
We'll be away
It's
for
more like a TED Talk.
I'm like, the moment like I'll be like when I travel and then you're like, girl, I'm already
I'm
online now.
living with you. I'm like, sis, I woke up and your story is not a zip. Are you okay? Because I live vicariously through you.
Yeah.
Like, there's something that I read the other day and it said, like, whatever you feel like you're lacking is actually your love language.
Yeah.
So, example, if you are a person who constantly shops unprovoked, your love language is actually gift giving.
True.
If you're the kind of person who gets a pep to your step through validation or
Yeah.
doing good things or recognized, your love language is actually words of affirmation.
True.
So those areas that are lacking in your life is actually your love language that you've probably not tapped into. So I know part of my love language is what you do. That leap of faith.
Yeah.
That daring to just do what I want in this moment, even though society says, Nas, instead of you traveling, you should be investing back home, buy land, buy this.
Hey,
But
my
right
mom.
now, this
Mommy,
is...
please don't be watching this. Don't listen to Yvette. Oh.
But right now, this is what gives me my joy, and I'm choosing to do me.
I know.
I told you something when we were coming here in a cab, and I said,
Yeah.
for me, I think now more than ever, a lot makes sense to me because the day when I buried my mom and I
remember.
saw her going in 6 feet under,
Yeah.
I was like, so this is it?
This is it. Yeah.
All the things she worked to do that were societally right.
Right.
This is it.
All the things that she
didn't take
deprived herself
Sis,
from doing.
I do myself unconditionally.
I know,
And
babe.
I applaud you for doing that too.
I know.
Yes.
Thank you, babe. Thank you so much. And honestly speaking, from work, from social life, from everything around me, I know that one good thing that I've always experienced with you, and that's why I call you my hype woman.
Oh.
How many times have I called you my hype woman?
You're gonna make
I
me
remember telling you, like, even the comments that you will leave on my pictures, they were always so genuine. Like, if I read them, I would read them.
it.
I would read them with your voice. It's like, hey, oh, walk on us.
Oh, step
I was
on
like,
us, we are your red
I
carpet.
was like, girl, the comment. No, it's not like the typical heart
True.
emojis. This
Yeah.
is people comments that people leave in your picture just for the sake. You would actually take the effort and time to
Because
speak your
I
mind.
see you for who you are.
You've been gifted with something, and I'm so glad that you're keeping it and you're putting it to use.
This calls
Opening
for a hug.
opening this.
End the podcast with a hug. Thank you so much. Oh my God.
You've done amazing. You've done amazing, babe.
Thank you, babe. And it takes one amazing woman to see the other.
Yeah.
You've carved a niche for yourself. You audaciously dare to be different. You don't fit into a box because you were designed to stand
Never.
in.
We
There
don't
can
fit in a box.
never ever be another Nas in this life.
Never.
So misunderstood or understood, do you unconditionally because
Always.
everybody else is taken. I'm not going to say much because at the end of the day, we're going to need a lot of whiskey and tissue to numb the tears. But this has been
Yes.
Y.K.T.V Kikuyu for Dubai Diastories, and this is my beautiful guest.
Hi. Bye.
Who are you?
I'm Nasarian Washeke.
And if anyone wants to find you and see your wanderlust stories and your amazing events life, where can they find you? Are you open?
Instagram.
Okay.
They can always follow me. Nasarian_Washeke.
We're going to put her Instagram handle on the page. So until the next time we come to your way, stay true, stay you. This has been Dubai Diastories. Bye.